Truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds, it takes me out of the present. New moon waxing, full moon waning, crescent. Life cycles, teammates or rivals. Soul search, dangerous World War III, the goal's always survival. That's nature, day you're born when you meet your maker. Tears start chasing paper, burning trees or melting glaciers. But truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds, it's impossible to process, so I stay focused on my progress.
Welcome back to the Triple Captains podcast, the first one after the interlull and the aftermath of Game Week 12. One of those weeks where the FPL gods reminded us that we don't know anything about this game. Players that we benched, they hauled. Captains that we chose, they blanked. And even some of the managers in here, they made some decisions that probably need a prison case. That said, when the dust settled, the results are the things that matter, and I took the week. So, it's the Archangel himself in the middle, and I am joined by a disconsolate Guffs and a special guest appearance from Derek Chisora. So, boys, how we doing?
Yeah, go on, Holiday Hots.
He glassed me. No, big up Derek every effing day. For me, obviously, as you men know, you don't know it's War Hots. Not so worried right now. Sleepy Hots, like, I'm not gonna lie. It's the first time I've felt any form of jet lag, and obviously
getting old, man. Getting old.
I don't know.
That
we all are getting a bit old.
You know what I mean? Wear and tear. Got to weigh down a bit now.
Maybe. Is that why you've gone for the new look? So you got rid of your little soul glow and that.
Don't hate the curls, bro. I keep telling you. Do you know what I mean?
But why have you got rid of them then?
It's after the week he's had, isn't it?
Yeah, bruv. You know when them yard man cut the dreads when it's been a death in the family, bruv.
What's been different from all the weeks recently?
I'm trying to expel the demons. You mean?
Let's just explore that. Like, so you are Holiday Hots and you've never been jet lagged.
You know what's mad? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it super real, and I'm gonna remember that I have a professional living too. Yeah, but time zones don't really impact me. Like, I'm not the greatest of sleepers, and like, time zones don't impact me usually. So
the day walker,
you know, nocturnal and all that. But now, all jokes aside, like, I don't sleep well, so time zones don't really impact me and haven't usually impacted me. But this is the first time. Remember, I only got back like literally a day ago, and I was mashed up because I got back just in time for the Arsenal and Spurs game, and I fell asleep in the second half. And if I could fall asleep in that game, I must be tired. You know them ones. And then, like, obviously, I've had to go back to work and do what I need to do. So it's been tough. Even today's been tough. That's why I've had to have the shades on. My eyes are bloodshot red. Like, I haven't trimmed and done anything I needed to do. But, like,
I ain't got you were doing the Guffs and moaning about Arsenal being boring again. That's why you fell asleep.
Nah. Yeah, behave. I know you're in the middle seat, but behave yourself. You know what I mean?
So Gus, what's going on with you? How's your week been?
Yeah, personally okay. FPL wise, bruv. Listen, it's been an absolute myth, man. I'm upset. Hots is saying he's upset. I mean, he's always upset, isn't it? Every week he's saying he's upset. So nothing new there. But like, we'll get into it later on. But it's been an absolute joke of a week.
Understood. Well, before we get emotional, Hots, talk to us. Who's the donut of the week?
Donut of the week. There was a few candidates, but for me, the biggest and the donut of the week has to be Gay from Everton. You can't just get a red card and put your team in jeopardy, under pressure, in a game where they had to win because they hadn't won in a while. And for me, getting a red card for slapping your own player is an idiot thing. especially the reaction to the red card. Like, you know, if you touch anyone's face in any shape or form, it's a red card. So it's not only the fact that he slapped the guy's face and he's half his size, to make it even more funny in the circumstances of it. Hands up to his belly button, slapped him while he's looking up to him, and that. It's mad for me. Anyway,
I thought you'd be able to appreciate his reaction and the, scrappy dude type ways about him. Like, listen, it was funny to see. Like you said, he's half his size. It was
you know what it is? This is why he's my donut of the week. I'll elaborate, yeah? When the ref gave him the red card, all of a sudden, he had mad energy change. So you slapped him, you got a red card, now it's, let me at him, and everyone's holding him back. I would have let him go. What are you going to do?
We've all been there. We've all been there at the clubs, right?
Like, you got me red carded. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Hold me. Get off the pitch, you dickhead. Like, to me, you're the donut of the week because you put your team at jeopardy, and you're lucky that man like Mr. Hall got you out of trouble. Because David Moyes has come out saying, yeah, I like my players having that fight in them, and bro, if you didn't get the 3 points, you wouldn't have been having liking that fight. But the reality is, they got away with it. I'm happy they got away with it, and like, in reality,
of course,
I hope
you're always going to be excited that United got slapped in it. So that's all good.
But the question for
reality,
you, Hearts, yeah. Do you think it was a red?
Well, the rules are if you slap someone in the face or have any sort of contact with their head, it's a red card. So, because it's his own player, I think we've seen it before a few times when they've done the red. So, me personally, if the ref could give a yellow, I wouldn't have cared. And again, because I've been away, I haven't watched all the games. I had to watch these games so I can get to the bottom of who's my donut of the week. So I just watched highlights. But to me, you slapped him because you did a dead ball. You did a dead ball. Then you slapped him. No, sorry. Let me just start again. Remember, I am jet lagged. You did a dead ball. He's saying to you, like, he gives you a bit of verbals, push it, and then you're giving him verbals back. And he's like, listen, you did a dead ball, accept it, you little idiot. Go back into the midfield. We've got a game to carry on with. Then you're like, what? Who are you talking to? Jumped up and slapped him. Yeah? And then, when you've jumped up and slapped him, you've got a red card for doing something that's a red card offence by law. Then, when you get a red card, you try to go ballistic when everyone's holding you. To me, you're a fool. Because, realistically, you didn't have all this mad energy until you got the red card and when everyone was holding you. So, I'm not saying he hasn't got heart. I'm not saying he hasn't got it in him to try and fight a bigger man. But, realistically, it's your teammate and you didn't really want to fight him. You just pissed you got a red card and acted like a fool afterwards. So that's why you're my donut of the week. But I could have easily have said Slot, who could have been donut of the week for the last few weeks. I could have easily said Pep, who wanted to argue with the cameraman. But my donut of the week is Gay, and he's lucky his team got the 3 points, and I think we should just leave it there, not to be on that for too long. But Gay, you are the donut of the week. That's that.
Fair enough. And what do you think about the other games for the week? Obviously, we're all very comfortable with the Arsenal win. To be fair, due to the letter of the law, Saliba's lucky he stayed on the pitch because he slapped Rice in the face when he was celebrating. But there you go. It was a good game. Obviously, as you guys know, I don't like predicting Arsenal matches.
This was a coupon buster this week, mate. I mean, this is one of them games.
Do you know what's mad?
If you had those coupons, remember those old school coupons with the away wins, home wins.
Yep.
This week would have been a myth because there was so many results that would kind of went against the grain, really. But yeah, man. I mean,
very true.
Do you know what's mad? I didn't see the Rice and Saliba slapping. Like, I swear to you, in the first half, I was dozing off. Yeah, but I was dozing off in the first half, and in the second half, I actually crashed out when it was. I saw the goals, but I crashed out, so I've missed certain things. So the celebrations and that's a myth for me. So that's quite funny that you mentioned that.
Genuinely speaking, Saliba needs to be studied when we score a goal. He loses it completely. Like,
a few of our players do though.
Yeah, like
him in particular. He's like the new Rio Ferdinand. Remember Rio Ferdinand always wants to be in the camera and celebrations. He's that guy for Arsenal.
Saliba is funny. Like he forces people to do their signature celebration even when they don't want to do it, or he does that. He's hyping. Like poor Rest, man, just got living little slap in his face.
Was it a proper? Was it a slap? Was it harder than gay slap?
Probably by default. He's
no, I'm
like
saying, but no, I'm just saying the way it looked. Because the one thing I would. Okay, he just gave him a little slap, like
yeah, he just got excited, didn't it?
Yeah, I get it. I was just trying to establish because Gay actually slapped Keane. He actually slapped Keane, innit?
But you know what? I thought that not to harp on about it, but I didn't think that Keane came out of that smelling of roses either. Like, because he's almost egging it on that he got sent off and was all ushering him out and stuff. I'm like, well, your team's down to 10 now, so regardless of that situation,
listen,
it's not one for you to.
Keane could have been a donut in this too, but obviously it's just one donut of the week. And the thing is, I understand why he was. I'm not saying he's right, by the way, but I understand why he's saying get off the pitch, bro. Because it all started, as just not to drag it on, but it all started with him saying, bro, forget arguing, go back to midfield, and then you slap me. Are you stupid, you little munchkin? And then you get a red card, and you're meant to be going off the field, and you're trying to come back like you want to do. Bros, get off the field, you dickhead. That's what he's thinking, innit? That's why he's ushering him off. Bros, get off the field. You're not going to do nothing. When the game's said and done, if we win or lose or draw, when we're in the change rooms, you're going to have to say sorry. That's what I think Keane said. I'm not saying that I know the statistics between them two, but if I'm Keane size, that's what I'm thinking. You're going to have to say sorry off camera. So let's go away and before I lose it. But anyway, forget Everton. No one cares about them.
Well, speaking about off-field, where was Guffs in the ground this week?
Yeah, this week was an interesting week. I went to Craven Cottage to see Fulham versus Sunderland, the Black Cats. And shout out to the Sunderland fans. Them guys, yeah, I like you guys. Lively bunch, crew. They came out in full force and, it was really...
So you like the Roker boys, but you hate the Geordies?
You keep on saying this, man. I'm a people person, man. I'm a man of the people. I don't hate anyone. You mean?
You know, I just go off of what happens. So,
you keep trying to get me jumped in Newcastle. Like, ain't gonna happen.
So you was at the Fulham game.
At the Fulham game, spoke to both sets of fans. Bit hairy because it was raining off and on, so recording was a bit hairy, but we got there in the end, and please watch and enjoy.
Oh!
Welcome to Guffs on the Ground. Today, I'm outside Craven Cottage, home to Fulham, to watch Fulham v Sunderland. Fulham are 10th, Sunderland are flying. A tough game. But as you know, we're here for one thing only, aren't we? Fantasy football. Let's go get it. Prediction, go for it.
3-1 Sunderland.
3-1 Sunderland?
Sunderland fan, isn't it? Got a sport. I haven't seen the bloody team start, so I will go 2-1.
2-1. Fulham?
Yeah.
Okay. How you doing, boys? How are you doing?
Good.
Good?
Good, I'm good.
Where are you from?
Portugal.
What part?
Lisbon. Cascais, by the coast.
And you're here for the game, or?
Yeah, we're trying to see the game, but we couldn't get any tickets. Unfortunately, they're all sold out. So
No. Today's game. Scoreline. Do you have a prediction?
I think 1-1 or 0-0. I think it's going to be a draw because obviously Fulham's playing at home, but they're still 10th right now. And obviously Sunderland is in a good position. They're doing well. So I think it's going to be a tough fight for both teams.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
Starting already, Chill out, mate. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, you?
Good. I'm very well.
Cool, thank you.
Easy one to start off with. Today's game.
Yeah.
Scoreline. Go for it.
I'm a Fulham fan, but I'm a little bit worried about today, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because Sunderland are in good form. And we're not in the best of form, to be honest with you. And
You're good here, though.
no, we are good here, but it's very Fulhamish, to say another podcast name, for us to be losing these types of games. So
Yeah.
I'm not. My heart says 2-1 Fulham.
All
My
right.
brain says 1-0 Sunderland.
Oh, mate, don't say that.
Yeah.
Scoreline, prediction.
1-0 Sunderland.
Okay.
Yeah.
And goal scorer?
I think Brian Bromley will come off the bench and he'll bag one.
Okay.
Aye. I think we're on good form at the minute, obviously. I know Fulham aren't doing the best at the minute than down there. Obviously, we've got a few good players. We've got like Kevin and that. They're all good players. Emil Smith-Rowe, stuff like that. But I just think we're on such a run at the minute where it's just like, I just think we'll be able to come through it defensively.
Okay,
and
fair
straight
enough.
win.
I'm doing good, thank
doing
you.
good?
Yeah.
It's bloody freezing cold.
It's cold.
Where's your gloves? What's going on?
We're from the north. No gloves, no gloves. No gloves to the north.
Number one, question. Today's game.
Yeah.
Scoreline. Prediction. Go for it.
1-0 Sunderland.
1-0.
1-0.
Goal scorer?
Alderete if he starts. If he
Alderete.
doesn't, I'm going to go with a Xhaka screamer.
Okay, well done, well done. How are you doing in your league? I mean, are you doing well, badly? I mean,
I'm just mid-table.
mid-table, okay?
Mid-table, sturdy. Not anywhere near that forfeit.
Yeah. Oh,
but
well,
also
yeah.
not-
Stay at that.
Exactly.
Stay away from that.
Exactly.
And, I mean, would you say you're a risk taker? You play it safe? What's your strategy?
I like to, because I go home and play every week. I've got the nice Yemi Pino in the Crystal Palace because I like watching plays and I think, because he's on the cheap at the minute,
Yeah.
and I think he'll end up doing good. So I like looking at players and I think, right, I think he'll do well.
Ahead of the curve
yes,
almost.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
Let's play sort of like, heart over mind. I mean, do you sort of...
I think more at the beginning I was hard over mine, and now I'm playing 1-1. I'd never play a City player because I just don't like City, but I've got Haaland and I just brought Doku on.
Okay.
I've just transferred Doku in for Grealish.
And your league and your kind of your leagues.
My league's good, to be fair. I'm 900k.
900k?
Yeah, I'm fourth in my league. I'm nowhere near the top.
What's the secret?
That's the secret.
Patience.
No, the secret is people putting £100 in. That's the secret. Everyone's taking it very seriously.
Yeah. And your overall strategy of the game, are you kind of a risk taker? You play it safe?
I'm a risk taker.
Risk taker, yeah?
Especially at this point. If I'm top, it depends. If I'm top, I'm safe.
Okay.
I'm not top, I'm fourth.
Okay.
Risk taker.
Fair enough. Would you say you're a risk taker? Do you play it safe? How do you play the game?
I just kind of throw on whoever's doing well, really. I'm not exactly... I don't exactly think about it very hard.
How are you?
No, I play quite safe. I like having solid players I rely on.
And how are you doing your league? You doing well? I mean,
I'm rock bottom of my league.
rock bottom. Oh, come on. Play some guts and glory. Come on, step it up. Is there a forfeit in your league for bottom league? No?
Not yet.
No?
We'll probably do one at the end.
Is there money involved in your league? I mean, what's the stakes?
Yeah, maybe this year.
I think I've got Haaland.
Okay.
Just out of safe.
At
Just to be
safety.
safe, yeah.
I mean, it's a tough game against Newcastle. Did you think going for someone else this week, maybe?
That's Newcastle, mate. You know what I mean? It's Newcastle.
The enemy.
Exactly. He'll bag a few against them.
Captain choices. So you got who are you gone for?
I've
Come
got
on.
Haaland this week.
But why Haaland? Haaland's away to Newcastle today. I mean, it's a tough game. I mean, not Salah.
I do have Isidore up front in the FPL.
Isidore, the enemy.
No, I reckon Haaland. It's Newcastle. They've not been great form recently.
I mean, Haaland is in form, I guess.
Yeah. Centre backs aren't looking too strong.
Yeah.
I reckon at least a goal, maybe two.
Okay, fair enough. Captain, who you gone for this week?
Oh, I went with Mateta, I can't pronounce it.
Mateta?
Yeah, that's right. I went risky, not Haaland.
Bold choice.
Bold choice.
Are you doing bad in your league? Is that why you're trying to kind of go a bit
I'm doing
against the grain?
mid-table. I'm trying to climb up, but yeah.
Captain choice this week. It's a tough one. Is it Haaland? Is it someone else?
Mateta, because they've got Wolves.
Mateta.
I was close to triple captaining him, but because they brought in a new manager, I thought that'd give Wolves a little bit of boost.
Okay. They are away today. I mean, does that affect your judgment at all?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, fair enough. And who's the captain choice this week? Who you going for?
When João Pedro.
Pedro.
Oh, I don't know what the score is at the minute.
But why Pedro? Why not Haaland or someone else?
I thought Chelsea against Burnley, pretty easy game. Don't know, I just fancy Pedro this week. I think everyone goes Haaland, so if it pays off, then it's alright, innit?
Well. Very interesting thoughts this week. Captain choices, very tight. Some going Haaland, some going Pedro. But I think just so slightly Mateta gets a nod. So see how it pans out, shall we? Goes to the ground, sign out.
Makes sense. Like, there's quite a varied choice for your captains throughout all of the people that you spoke with. I guess everybody wanted to go against Haaland or saw it as the week where it was possible to do that.
Yeah,
And
I think you're right there, man. I get the vibe from the people that Man City got a good run coming up, right? So this is probably their last opportunity, or for a little while, where you could probably go against Haaland. Um, I think we got to that point in the game now where there's gaps forming in leagues. I think people want to now go against the grain. So yeah, it was interesting to sort of see the different varied opinions on the game, and also getting people's opinions on just how they felt about their team in general. So yeah, interesting.
yeah, I guess that's as good a segue as any for us to have a chat. Time for therapy. Team reviews.
Yeah.
Start with you, Guffs.
So yeah, so quick my team. So the Reckonings goal, Senesi, Timber, Richards at the back, Minte and Bomo, Salah, Marino, Saka, Haaland, Krupi. And as you can see, I've played the free hit this week. Absolute travesty this game week. Absolute travesty. I calculated my actual real team and what they would have got, and it would have got me 77 points. So I've lost that on over 20 points in this game week, and yeah, it was an absolute mess, really. My philosophy initially was to wait until next game week to play the free hit, because I think that was probably one of the optimal point to play it, which most people will probably do who still hold that chip. But I decided to go against that because I felt that maybe I could get a jump on people with Salah. That was the main thing, the main driver, really. That most people will kind of dump Salah, and this could be the week where Liverpool have a revival, and if I can get some goals from him when no one else has got him, then it could give me an uplift. And in the end, it went against me, and in a big effect. To have, as happy as I am as an Arsenal fan to watch Eze get a hat trick, it was burning me inside a little bit. It was like, oh, this guy's in my team. He's getting 3 goals. Why this week? So it was just, yeah, I was upset from an FPL standpoint, but yay, 4-1 Arsenal. Was that one of them ones this week? So, yeah. But yeah,
Didn't you also have
Who in
Rodgers?
particular were you upset with from your team?
So in terms of my free hit, I was very upset with Salah's contribution. He's. I keep thinking it's Salah. Surely you've got to wake up. Surely you're Salah, bruv. But the more I say that, the worse he seems to play, and maybe we are just seeing the death or the actual kind of regression of Salah before our eyes. And I think there's a lot of data now to support that theory. Now this isn't just a blip. This has been going on all season now. And even though he's got a goal and assist here, his general overall play has been pretty substandard. So yeah, he's obviously the big one that really, and then Bomo as well was another one. And Bomo's been in form for the last 4 or 5 game weeks. You've had him and got his points.
Mm-hmm.
I bring him in and he does nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's like this guy.
But
so
I was a bit surprised when I saw your team, if I'm honest, because you had Rodgers last week.
Yeah.
And he got on the score sheet, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, is this going to be a run for him? And he's got a good run of games. And then you did a free hit and took him out of your team. And that confused me, if I'm honest. And I didn't know you took him out of your team originally because I didn't check no one's teams. So I thought, oh man, you've got those goals from Roger and Eze, because I didn't check no one's team. So when you said you had no Eze, I still thought you had Rodgers. So obviously, as a competitor, I was happy that you did what you did, but I didn't get it. And seeing your team now, Krupi, that was a surprise one too for me. So just
Krupi
that was to maneuver some of the other guys into it, right?
Yeah, Krupi wasn't meant to play. Krupi was a bench guy. Yeah, I had Fafana playing because of Chelsea were playing Burnley, and he was a guy that was in my team, but he didn't play at all. So that means Krupi came in.
Oh, you're doing 4-5-1.
Yeah,
okay.
I was playing a more defensive formation. I had one striker with Haaland, and the reason why I haven't got Rodgers was because I couldn't afford him. I haven't got the money in my team to kind of have all the players I wanted to have. I had to make sacrifices somewhere, and it was a tough decision because I knew I wanted to have Salah. I knew I wanted to have Saka, and obviously once you have Saka, Salah, and Haaland, with my budget, you've got to make decisions elsewhere. And it was like I had Rodgers in my team for most of the kind of free hit, but strangely enough, I had Rodgers and I had Eze, but I sacrificed Eze for Saka, and in that case, I had to sacrifice Rodgers. So the whole thing just kind of blew up in my face, really.
But I guess historically, there's logic behind bringing in Saka for the game with Middlesex. He does well against them. But was there anybody that you brought in on your free hit that you're thinking, actually, they're one for me to watch going forwards, as I may want to bring them into my team? Or the week has upset you that much that you're like, to hell with all of that?
I mean, on performance, probably not. I think Mbomo is someone who I think will do well. So even though he didn't do great against Everton, I think that he's probably the one player from United who I think will consistently score points for them. So he was someone that I probably would like to have in my team. I think in retrospect, I probably should have doubled up on Palace defense, because again, I spoke about Salah, the data showing that he's doing absolute trash. The data is also showing that Palace are consistently getting defensive points week in, week out. And it's not just Richards, but Lecroux, Munoz, Guéhi. All these guys are, I think, in the top 10 of points in the game. So, yeah, I didn't really think it through with my free hit properly, and then I paid the price. And that's now 2 chips I've used in this game, which have completely flopped for me. So it's been a complete waste. But
as you can imagine, we're not too concerned with that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At least you got a green arrow.
I'm sure. Shut up.
The Hots, what about your team?
So while I think I got back from the beach and I was like, let me actually check on my team.
This guy.
And I checked on my team and I was like, what the actual F? I've got 6 men out. When did this happen? And at that point I realised I need to actually pay attention to what's going on out here, because I get back when the deadline is already finished. So then I have decisions to make. So I took Gabriel out. I put in Munoz, so I can go double at the back with Crystal Palace. And then that was my free change. And then I said to myself, I'm going to take a -4 because I'm not scared to take minuses. And I couldn't pick out of the other people who was injured or suspended who to pick. So I thought, hey, as much as I don't rate Liverpool's defence, and I've mentioned Van Dijk's progression is going in the wrong direction, with their fixtures, it will make sense to pick him. Because if I'm going to pick someone from Liverpool, he's probably the perfect person to pick out of that 11 who you know is going to play. And yeah, I took a -4 for Van Dijk. In hindsight, it wasn't the best of moves because I would have had an extra transfer for this week. However, he got me 3 points, which I sort of can take because of the whole defensive contributions. But yeah, that left me with a team of Van Dijk, Munoz, Guéhi and Senesi. So the back line didn't get me less than 3, so that's okay. Raya in goal, who got me 2, which wasn't great, but with a victory like that, I can't complain as an Arsenal fan. Saka got me a 4, who was a possible captain option against Haaland and would have beat Haaland by 2 points. Kudos played, even though he was injured, got me 2, and Enzo got me 11. So that was probably my captain choice if it wasn't Munoz that I could have went with, because I did fancy Chelsea to do well, but I thought Pedro would do something, and he got me a 1, just like Mateta, who didn't play 60 minutes. Haaland, you can't be mad at. I knew it was going to be a tough one. It was a week to go against him, and I thought everyone would go against him. He scored in the international break, and I hoped that he would score when everyone goes against him, and I capitalised, and it didn't work out. But I got 50 minus the 4, obviously, to make it 46. I told you my target is a minimum of 50 usually. So I'm below that. So red arrow, not over the moon, but you know, I think I made the right choice in Munoz. And Van Dijk will have this game week to get a clean sheet against West Ham. If he fails again, you know what I do. Nothing long. And that's about it for me this week.
Yeah. To be fair, there are a lot of pelters going towards Van Dijk out there in the sun. The funniest thing is, if when you look at it, he outscored Haaland, right? Like, so it's not all that bad. So I started off the week wanting to play 3-5-2, but it didn't work out like that because I had a few players that didn't play, which meant people had to come in off the bench. Just to give you a run through of my team, it's Dubravka I put in goal, as I didn't trust that Vicario would get anything against the Arsenal. I had Senesi, Munoz and Keller forward. Then in midfield I had Enzo, Mbumo, Gakpo and Ndiaye. And up front, Thiago, Haaland and Voltamade. Voltamade being the one that came off the bench because he replaced Semenyo. Biggest regrets that I've got with the team that I had, Netpo obviously didn't do anything, which is, I was toying between bringing him in or bringing in Gibbs White. The other concern that I had was Thiago. Effectively, his penalty miss cost me 9 points because he would have got bonus. I think he was almost close to DEFCON as well. So everything that he did with that miss dropped me completely down. So it made it that the little competition between us three became very sticky and very heated to the last minute. It went to the wire. But I guess before we go that much further in some, because game week 13 looks as though it could get spicy. Lots of different things that people want to do in terms of future proofing and where they want to go with things. But speaking of spicy, StatmanArc, my segment, this week should be a good one for you because it's really getting into where the game is and where it's lying to us and where it isn't, and ultimately revealing what we should be doing. So without further ado, let's run the segment and we can have a chat. The story of each season unravels long before any table does. This is no different this year. The story this year is whispering something wild. Defenders are outscoring attackers, not by luck, but by design. And let me show you why. Here's the thing. FPL managers have been spending weeks arguing about XG, form, vibes, whatever. Meanwhile, the actual shift, the real one, is happening where nobody's looking. You see, what we're really watching is defenders become premium assets, midfielders losing ground, and forwards getting eaten alive. And what's the reason behind this? Ghost points. Ghost points are the invisible stuff, the actions the game rewards even when nothing happens. We're talking about things like recoveries, clearances, duels, interceptions, DEFCON points. These are all the little touches that stack BPS like compound interest. And this season, defenders are farming ghost points on an industrial scale. Now compare that to the real points, the things attackers rely on: goals, assists, big chances, final actions. If they don't deliver, everything vanishes. Your underlying XG might as well be Monopoly money. For example, Thiago at Brentford, over 5 expected goal involvements in the last 5 weeks, which he did, and yet Lacroix, a Palace defender, has only scored 2 points fewer than him. 2 points. 0 XGI. That's ghost points versus real points in one sentence for you. And here's another one. Timber at Arsenal has delivered more total BPS this season than Bowen, Palmer and Watkins, and almost every mid-tier forward in the game. This isn't because he's elite at attacking. This is because his baseline is so high that he starts every match with an advantage attackers simply can't match. That tells you everything that you need to know about where the value really is. Let me show you what the data actually tells us. So if we take a look at the top BPS defenders this season, it includes Timber, Gabriel, Munoz, Kukaya, Mitchell, Lacroix, Gay, Richards. 7 of the top 10 BPS totals are defenders. Let that sink in. And Palace? 5 in the top 10. 5. And it's not because these players have suddenly turned into Paolo Maldini. No. It's the structure. It's the system. Teams like Arsenal, Palace, Chelsea, and even Middlesex, they're defending as one unit. Tight blocks, clean spacing, predictable defensive actions. This creates an environment where defenders always have something to do, and every one of those actions equals BPS. Attackers don't get that luxury. They're paid only on final actions. You score, big BPS. You assist, maybe a bonus. But if you miss, if your team underperforms, if the final ball doesn't land, you get punished. Defenders accumulate. Attackers gamble. That's why defenders are matching and sometimes even beating the boys on 5+ XGI. Now let's talk FPL. Because this isn't just theory. This is strategy. If defenders are accumulating baseline all game, and attackers only get rewarded if the final action lands, you have to adjust the way you structure your squad. The smartest managers this season are shifting their shape. Formations are going away from 3 at the back to 4-4-2 with double Arsenal or Palace, 4-5-1 with one premium striker, 5-3-2 when fixtures align, and even defender triple-ups when the system demands it. Right now, a 5 million defender in a good system is more valuable than a 7 million forward in a chaotic one. And there are enough examples to prove it. Lacroix is outperforming forwards. Timber is outscoring mids. Mitchell and Gay as ghost point machines. Kukuea delivering consistent baseline returns. This is the first season where the template is behind the curve. And here's the real shift. The new defensive contribution rule. Defender hits 10 defensive actions, clearances, blocks, interceptions, tackles, and they get 2 extra points. 2 points for doing the work their system already demands. And those actions, they are the heartbeat of these systems. Palace defend deep, boom, DEFCON. Arsenal press high, then drop into a block, boom, DEFCON. Chelsea can press wide, boom, DEFCON. Every action, every minute equals BPS inflation. So ghost points aren't random, they're structural. They're what happens when defenders operate in stable systems and attackers operate in chaotic ones. And that's why your defenders are outscoring your strikers. That's why conservative picks are suddenly value picks. And that's why someone like Lacroix can keep pace with Thiago without ever threatening the goal. But here's the twist. Defenders aren't rising in isolation. Not at all. If defenders are winning, someone's losing. And that someone is the modern 9. Forwards aren't just underperforming. They're being designed out of the game. They're touch-starved, marked out, used as decoys rather than finishers. The ghost point explosion is just a symptom. In the next episode, we flip the board over. The death of the modern striker. Why forwards are returning less than ever, and why it's tactical, not psychological. If part 1 explained the numbers, part 2 will explain the calls. Statman out.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Really interesting. You touched on some things that I had sort of thought about. I mean, what I found really interesting was the idea that, and what kind of stuck in my mind was, you know, Thiago versus the sort of Palace thing, right? Like, Thiago's got 9 goals so far, yet he's basically on the same points as some of these defenders for Palace. And is Thiago's goal output sustainable? I don't know if it is. Do you mean? Whereas Palace
the
output,
game is rigged.
Yeah,
the game is rigged. It's now designed for defenders.
I mean, we've said in this show before, right? That we should be refixing and rethinking about how we set our team up, right? And I think that as every week goes by, there's more and more evidence to suggest that we should be going to more defensive setup because they are getting the points week in, week out, and it doesn't make sense now having three up top. So I'm certainly going to change up my thinking because they're not getting the points, the strikers outside of Haaland.
Yeah, the key takeaway is that it's exactly what you said. It's defenders have now got a higher baseline than they had before in terms of scoring points. And unfortunately, the victims of that are forwards. And not only because of the FPL scoring system, but just generally in football anyway. The way that teams are playing, like teams are playing in a more structured and a slower way, etc., which means that strikers, they're now having to drop in order for them to actually have an effect on the game. And then in addition to that, they need to rely on chaos, which if we've got all teams trying to be more structured and methodical in terms of the way they go forwards, that isn't going to be necessarily something that is highly available, which kind of reflects in the fact that we've only got one striker that is really doing things over and above what you would think, and he's outperforming his XG. But it's the first of a two-part series, so next week I will be looking at the other aspect of it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So this DEFCON has obviously changed how people accrue points, and clearly now like the balance in terms of, because I think what the game wants to try to achieve is that each position can potentially get the same points, right? You don't want one position out before another position. So do you think next year they might adjust the ways in which strikers can get points? Because most strikers now, not only in the league but in world football, the main striker does a lot more than score goals, right? We don't judge him in just scoring goals. We judge him in another outputs, right? Like, we're making an excuse for Gyökeres. Oh, he's not scoring goals, but he does this and does that, right? We've got Havertz, who for Arsenal has
does the same thing. Yep.
Does the same thing. You know, lots of the modern day strikers now, outside one or two in world football, Kane and Haaland, perform a job that far exceeds just scoring goals. So I wonder if now there might be a new metric coming in next year to reflect that, so the striker gets points for other things other than scoring goals and assists.
It is quite possible. I think it'd be difficult for them to pull that off because whatever they would be rewarding a striker for, like how do you differentiate that between the striker and a midfielder or attacking wide man, that kind of thing. But certainly this is an interesting one for us to get our heads around. And I suppose it's more about, is this going to be one that stays? Because we see the other things that FPL brings in, and it's only for a year and then it disappears. So it'd be interesting, and obviously something for us to worry about towards the end of the season. Right now, definitely, I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's time, if you haven't already started changing from formations, you need to. Because it's clear that for the entire season, all the way to here, your top scorers, points-wise, bonus points-wise, etc., are at the back of the pitch. But, you know, and with that, I suppose you can only use that information and leverage it and try to see where we are for future planning. What are you guys' thoughts on game week 13? It's a week where we know in the FPL community, many people are starting to look at, can we free hit, and who their captain choices will be, etc. Like, what are the general thoughts of you guys? Hots, where are you at on things?
So at the beginning of this game week, because I made a rash decision, if I'm honest. I wanted to get someone in, and I didn't double check, and I put someone in who had already gone up, and I wouldn't have bothered doing that if I knew that it had gone up already. So that was annoying. But this is a game week where there's potential for a free hit. I think there's a few game weeks where I would consider free hitting. That's this week and game week 15. I told you I don't really value that chip as much anyway, and it's the only chip I've got left, so I'll try to hold on to it, but I just want to get rid of it now. I don't know whether I'll bother using it this week or in 15, but I potentially, if I use it this week, I'm going to have a lot of players that are going to go down in my team for value, which I'll lose out and profit. But if I don't do it this week, I'm going to have the one player that I put in and didn't make a profit on, and players are still going to go down. So, if I'm being completely honest, as much as I might prefer the free hit in 15, I might just get it out of the way this week, but I'm not too sure yet. Just got to see how the European games unfold before I make a decision.
Would you ever think about not using it at all?
Just not using a free hit and it just going missing?
Just not using the free hit, yeah.
Nah.
And the only reason I ask, you know my thoughts on it. Like,
yeah.
With the free hit, I only used my one because I had loads of injuries and suspensions at the time. So to me, it's a chip you only use when you've got
if
chaos.
You need it, yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't see the value in it, because if you just use it randomly,
you're giving out like
it's like admitting or accepting that you. But it's like accepting that you're a failure with your planning, right? Like, obviously you pick your team for a reason, and so it's like, unless there is a real opportunity, like you've got, I don't know, some 5 of the highest performers all playing at home, like it feels forced to use it. I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts on it, Guffs?
Yeah, I kind of understand.
We know you've used yours, and
yeah, I kind of go into it. I mean, I've used mine, yeah. So for me personally, I haven't got that option. What I will say is that we've already seen in midweek, certainly in the games, that some of the teams, Chelsea and Man City, they're rotating some of their players, and some of the people like yourself who still got a free hit to play, I would issue a word of caution, because we're now getting to that point in the season where there are games midweek, and we're probably going to see a lot of rotation from managers, and Pep has been known to rotate his team, as we know, Pep rotation. So there's that danger that you could play the free hit in a game week and load up on certain players and then suddenly on the bench. So you got to be careful on that aspect. I do think this coming game week is probably the optimum moment to play the free hit, and I say that because just for one game, Man City Leeds are poor. Man City are at home, so it would make sense to load up on some Man City assets, particularly those assets who didn't play in Europe, and look for them to actually hammer Leeds, right? So
Guffs, what are your plans for the week? What are you thinking about?
So I'm thinking about going triple captain Haaland. That's what I'm thinking of doing. And I'm thinking of doing that for 2 reasons. One, because they're playing Leeds at home and Leeds have got a poor defence. But 2, people that are playing free hit can't triple captain. So I'm thinking, well, I've got an opportunity here in a favourable game for Man City to lick off a triple captain when maybe a fair portion of the game can't. And there's a few games to target. It'll be obviously Wolves will be a game that you want to target. But Leeds are up there as one of the teams that if you're Arsenal, Man City, these are games that you think that there should be a lot of goals in. So I'm gonna probably go triple captain Haaland. I was tempted to go triple captain Rodgers because they're playing Wolves, but I just trust Haaland more, and even more so now he was benched in midweek. That's my tactic.
Understood. What about for you, Hots?
I don't know, because I'm either going to activate my free hit in 15 or 13.
Okay.
And the way I feel now is that I might just get rid of it this week. Because the thing is, like I said, I've made one transfer already, which is my one free change. And I would like to make another. But I don't want to make another -4. I feel like I'm making too many minuses. I know I've got that to my game, but I don't want to do pointless minuses. So maybe it's best that I just do a free hit, and by me doing a free hit, the chips out of the way, and I can just focus on my team up until the beginning of game week 16 when we get our 5 free changes. Also, it's a thing where it will stop me from doing a minus if I do a free hit, and then hopefully I can hold on to my aggressive approach of minuses up until that point when we get our 5 free changes. Because if I don't do the free hit this week, I reckon I'd want to do a -4.
It's interesting that you speak about the chips that are coming in for 15-16, because I suppose that's shaping the way that I'm trying to play from here on in. So my focus at the moment is just trying to build my bench up, because obviously I've got bench boost left, and I just want to make sure it's fortified as best as it can be as we head towards the Christmas period and so on. And what I'd like to do is be in a situation where I have the chips that are given to us, 16 wise, and I can carry some, rather than having to disaster plan and bring people in for the sake of it, around about that week. So that's kind of where my head is at the moment. I said previously that when I did the free hit, there were a few players that I had brought in that I was testing the waters to see what they'd look like and if they should be in my actual team. So as much as I was clowning him, Keane is somebody that I've had on my watch list for a while. Obviously, when I brought him in for the free hit, I brought him in for the bench, didn't play him, and he scored 15. And then obviously yesterday, or whatever day it was, he got the clean sheet and DEFCON as well. So from that perspective, being on my watch list, I'm looking at him and saying, well, he seems to be performing all the time. So, and he's nailed for the 90 minutes.
I gotta be honest, yeah, Keane has gone under the radar for me. Like, I mean, I know you mentioned before, so I'm speaking for myself here, but I was like, I just think, raw, you're like in the top 10 for points. When did that happen? You know, like,
well, you know what? There was no Braithwaite, and he's 4.5. He always is the next choice after Braithwaite, so it was like, knowing that he was going to be out for a while, Keane for me was someone that I would have to put in as a cheaper at 4.5. I don't know if he's still 4.5 now, but yeah, just didn't get around to doing it. So it's, I think, like you said, he's been on your, what's it called, wish list or whatever it's
radar,
called.
yeah,
a watch list, sorry, not wish, watch list, and he's been on my watch list too. Yeah, excuse me, you've heard the excuses, the disclaimers at the beginning, but yeah. Yeah, he's been on my watch list as well, and
Keane's still 4.5, by the way.
Okay, yeah. So that's good. Look, he's got a few cards in his past seasons and stuff like that. But man held a slap to the face and kept his composure and stayed on the pitch. So it looks like, and he went on to get DEFCON, and that's a game where you're gonna get DEFCON and you got 11 against 10. Do you know what I mean? So, no, he's doing his thing. It's a good shout.
I think that so yeah, I mean that's generally my thought process around planning with the team at the moment. I know there are a lot of things that come out at the moment online and so on, talking about people free hitting and things. As you say, triple captain is one of those options for this week as well. I've seen a lot of people talking about.
Wait, have you got your triple captain still, bro? You still got your arc, because obviously you've already confirmed.
No.
Yeah.
You still got it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Because I remember you mentioned it, and he's just now said that, people talking about it, and I just remember, hold on, you've got quite a few chips there, trying to sit there quietly. So I just wanted to put it out there.
I don't have quite a few. No, I've used 2 chips, so I'm not in the greatest of shape. But I've found it odd. Like, there's a lot of sway out there talking about, the other opportune time to triple captain would be game week 17, City at home to West Ham. But the issue for me is that that's hedging your bets that West Ham are not going to improve between now and then. It's not to say that I'm saying West Ham are going to now put some masterclass on when they go there, but they may not necessarily be as easy as what they have been up to this point in the season. It's a strange one for me, like the thought process of trying to plan it out like that. Outside of that, I don't know.
So you're using it this week,
I don't know. No, I don't know. We'll see. I've got to look at some of the data and underlying stats. I know that we will talk about the different captain choices at some point. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's also trying to read some of the fixtures, right?
So I've got a question for you as well, when you're ready. Sorry.
Yeah, so go on.
So you mentioned to me, would I keep, that free hit chip and just leave it. So obviously, I didn't really ask you because I sort of was self-explanatory. But just to confirm, if you had your free hit, would you be prepared to just let it just go to waste in the first half of the season?
Short answer, yes. I only used it because I had injuries and so on. And I wasn't prepared to take loads of minuses because of the position I'm in.
So you would have sacrificed it if you didn't need to, and you wouldn't.
Yeah, I feel like personally, I feel like it's a redundant chip.
I get that. That's the reason I wanted to put it out there.
I don't see the value in it, especially if, for instance, I'm not like you. You're like the Del Boy of FPL, right? So you're on this, like, I want to make sure that I've got value and all of this kind of thing. Which
I'm not a
is
wheeling
fair,
dealer.
so I
I'm
understand.
a fucking football manager. Big up Aaron Redknapp, East London to the fullest, mate. But yeah.
But for me, I'm not too bothered by that as long as my team is what I need it to be. So if I've got the team that I've felt logically is the right team to have, I can't see the value in free hit. Because it would mean that I haven't got the players that I thought were good. So unless it's like a situation where Guffs had, where it was like, well, actually, I can get one of the main hitters from FPL, like one that I wouldn't usually be able to afford because I wouldn't be readjusting my team like this, then yeah, you can go for it. And especially if you're chasing upside.
I find that interesting. Because it's like a free wild card. But
yeah,
again, I agree with you. That's why I'm asking you the question again. Because if you look at my position, I had 6 people out potentially, and I still chose to take a -4 over using that free hit.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it out there. I'm going to use my free hit though, because unlike you, I wouldn't let it go to waste. But me not letting it go to waste, I could end up like Guffs. Because you could use it and it doesn't really benefit you using it. And if I had used it this week, I might have potentially thought, let me captain Salah too. Not that my captain did anything better, but at least I've got it now to not thinking about captaining Salah. So like, I did contemplate it when I had 6 men out. I'm like, boy, this might be the right time for the free hit. But like, I wanted Munoz in, and I wanted to get him in before he went up. And free hit mean I won't profit. So, like, it didn't make sense.
Yep.
But anyway.
But I suppose we're looking at the plans that we've got going into this week. We need to look at some of the games. There are some tasty ones, but obviously the biggest one is Chelsea versus the Arsenal. What are the general thoughts going on? The caveat, as everyone knows, it's Arsenal games, so I'm not going to provide any kind of predictions. What we'll do is I'll go through some of the talking points on it. From a historical point of view, Chelsea have only beaten us once in the last 8 Premier League meetings. We've scored 2 or more goals in the last 5 of 6 meetings against them. And we've been unbeaten at Stamford Bridge since 2021. Although I don't know if that historical lens on this does anything for what the current reality is. Currently we know we have the best defensive structure in the league, and we've got the lowest expected goals conceded per 90 minutes. Largely, obviously, that was due to a lot of the high BPS and the high involvement that you've got from people like Timber and Gabriel, but we know Gabriel's out. Midfield rotations as well, they mean that we always have that numerical overload advantage in the half spaces. I think it's something that Carragher was going on about on Monday Night Football when he was showing the way that we rotate and the way it throws people off. And from that perspective, looking through some of the underlying data as well, like we're also the highest in the league for XG creation from structured possession. So taking those things into account, we also have to reflect that against Chelsea, because Chelsea, they've got a wide overload system, right? So that's the reason why they try and create chaos from there, right? That's your Garnachos, your Netos, etc. Like one of the interesting things as well is when they play with Reece James, like their progressive stats are a lot higher than they are without. And that's no matter where he plays, whether it be that he's playing at the back or they've got him into midfield. But at home, like they're inconsistent. They're dangerous. They just don't have a great conversion, I suppose, from the XG. So it's an interesting matchup. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you touched on a key word there. Chelsea are inconsistent and dangerous. And I said a few weeks ago that Chelsea are one of those teams that on any given day can beat anyone in this league. They're not the best team in this league. We are, in my opinion. But Chelsea are a dangerous team. And, I think this is really about what Chelsea are going to turn up in this game. Because, look, Arsenal will do what Arsenal do. I expect us to go out there and play our usual style of football and suffocate Chelsea and try to control the game. But it's a game that I'm slightly wary about. And I think if you're neutral, you probably want Chelsea to win, right? Because, everything is saying Arsenal going to run away with the league. And I think everyone wants it to be a title race. And if we go and win this game now, then I think that kind of almost sort of, puts another sort of, stone in our pocket. But yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure. It's a heart and head situation here. I can see this being a draw. I can see this being like a 1-1 draw potentially. I think Chelsea at home will be up for it. They've been on a good run. Both teams have won 5 of their last 6 games, so we're both coming into this game in good form. But yeah, I if we win this game and say we as an Arsenal, it'll be like a 2-1. But I think that this will probably be a draw. This game. That's my instinct.
What are your thoughts, Hots?
Very difficult game. I think it's going to be our toughest test for a while. Chelsea will be up for it, especially after all those stats you just threw at us, and the fact that they haven't beaten us in a while, and like I said, all the stats you've just said in favour of their defeat. I think Arsenal are in a good place, and it is a tough challenge. If I had to call a score, I'm not far off from Guffs saying, it could be close, could be like 1-1, but because I'm going to go with my team, I'm going to go out there and say 2-1 Arsenal. It just depends how Arsenal approach the game. The last game against Tottenham was the first time that I felt that, I don't know if Arteta's instructed the team to just go out there and play football. I felt like there's been talk about Arsenal's defensive play when it comes to certain teams, and I think against Tottenham we didn't show that. We went for it. We just, even Eze, if you look at the way he played in the last game, he was very free to roam and do what he wanted to do, like he may have at Palace. So if we approach this game and just go for it, I think I would want to change my score from being 2-1 to a bit more, because we've got the potential to score goals. But if I was a betting man in this one, I would say 2-1 Arsenal. Tough game. Arsenal to get a 9-point lead on Chelsea. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I believe it can happen. So that's my 2-1's my score.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. It's a tough game. It's also one that I keep my eye on because I know we drew with them last season at Stamford Bridge. So, that personally, being the type of person I am, I always keep score of, okay, what did we do last season? Are we going to do better this season? That kind of thing. So that's kind of where we want to be. But yeah, I expect both teams to score. I imagine that Palmer is going to be back. It's touch and go whether Gyökeres will be there, and probably Ødegaard is going to rear his head again as well. So it'd be interesting to see what the lineups are going to be as well.
If Palmer's back,
I know
I think
that
I don't even think it's going to matter. No disrespect to Palmer, because I really am one of his fans. But he's been out for so long, I'm not really fussed. I think if he does play, it's actually, I'm not saying a blessing, but you know, him coming back now into a game like that might be a good thing for us personally.
possibly, but players like him, they give the rest of their team a lift, right? It's
You're not wrong.
I guess I know from the graphic that we've got, we're thinking about what the midfield battle is going to be like. What are the thoughts? Because I guess for the past couple of weeks, all we have heard about is Chisora is the best DM in the league, yada yada yada, that kind of thing. Comparing him with Rice, but whose midfield do you think can dominate?
Look, I mean, the reason why this particular sort of graphic is interesting is because, you know, there aren't many teams that are really set up to physically compete with Arsenal. I think we have such a physical advantage over most teams in this league, and I think there are a couple of teams in this league who can match up well with us in the centre of the park. I think Newcastle is one of those teams. You know, they've got a lot of physical guys in the middle of the park, which is why over the last year or two they've given us tough games. And I think Chelsea are the other team that, in terms of their midfield shape and setup, they can compete with us in the middle of the park. So it's going to be an interesting battle. Chelsea have been rotating Caicedo the last few game weeks, but I'm sure he'll play this game. And it's going to be a tough game for Rice and Zubimendi, because, you know, Chelsea do play through those guys in the middle of the park, and I think the winner of that midfield battle will potentially be the winner, will help the team win the game. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
Chisora, the world's best shin kicker.
We're in a position, yeah, that if we did draw this game, you know, we're still in control. Because at the moment, I feel like this is a game I really want us to win. But if we used to draw, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And sometimes in these situations, you might get the fans saying, we drew against Chelsea if we end up drawing. And your prediction of 1-1 was right. And, you know, you're going to get some of the fans starting to pop off at the mouth again and stuff like that. But I think a draw wouldn't be the end of the world in this one. But a defeat is not something I want to see happening. As much as Chelsea is going to come at us and it's at Stamford Bridge, I think draw is the minimum that Arsenal need to achieve on this one. But I predict 2-1.
I don't think for me personally, as an Arsenal fan, whatever the result is doesn't change my view on how I see things in terms of the league and my confidence in Arsenal. You know, I think, which is why I said in my statement, I think that the league wants us to lose this game so it can appear to be interesting. I don't think Chelsea have the consistency to really compete with us for this league. I think they're a decent team, but I don't think if they win this game and go 3 points behind us, I don't suddenly feel I'm worried about Chelsea like that. I just don't.
As we are starting to look into the weekend, son, it's probably time for us to look at choices for captains. Consequently, is anybody thinking of any captains from that big game, from Chelsea Arsenal?
No, I don't think it's wise to pick a player from that game for the reasons that we all mentioned. Right? I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be a bold person to kind of pick any assets from that game. And you know, I mean, the one player you could probably think of is maybe Eze. Has Eze suddenly unlocked his game? Could he carry that confidence into this game and potentially, you know, we saw from some of the highlights and some of the kind of analysis after the game, he was taking up some really interesting positions, right? He was certainly 5 or 10 yards further forward and making sure that he was available on the edge of the box. So
is he going to do that this game is the question. I want
exactly.
to know what the instructions are going to be.
That's a big question mark. And the three guys on the graphic, I think, are really clear candidates.
What I would say just very quickly is that Saka has been doing absolutely nothing recently, and obviously he's been in our team, and I've had Eze early and got rid of Eze for Saka, and they both weren't doing anything much, and obviously Eze's delivered now. So if I was going to pick someone from the Chelsea and Arsenal game, it would be Saka, just for the record. And I think he
Okay.
will get on the score sheet this weekend. But yeah, these three on the graphics are probably the main three that anyone should be looking at realistically. I will be captaining Haaland. I'm not going against him. So that's my choice.
Yeah, I think I've already made it clear that I'm going to triple captain Haaland. So I mean that's where I'm going to go. But I will say that Rodgers is also a very good pick this game week as well for going against the grain. He seems to have hit a bit of form now, and Wolves are trash. They're the worst team in the league. Only got 2 points on the board, and they've been absolutely atrocious away from home. So, you know, he's someone that is worth looking at. But I'm going Haaland.
He could work for Uncle Rupert, man. He's so harsh. They're trash.
Yeah, aren't it? They're on 2 points. I mean, there's no point sugarcoating
They
it.
are, but obviously they've got new manager in, and the bounce will come at some point. I guess, as you guys say, it's very difficult to look at going against Haaland. Like, he's top for XGI for the whole season, top for shots in the box and big chances created. Like, Leeds as an opponent, they allow high quality chances through their central channels, which is where he thrives. You watch Haaland, and every time we watch Haaland, like, it's very odd to me that he seems to be at the halfway line with space, nobody around him. Like, this is the striker that we know is causing damage to everybody in the league, and every game we see the same thing where he's just got space to run in behind. And we know historically he delivers in fixtures against teams that are not as good as others in the league.
So Statman,
I think Rodgers.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
But are you triple captaining him? Are you going to let us know?
Why you keep asking me that? I don't know.
Because I feel like you are. And I just, like, Guffs has put it out there, he is. And I feel like it's a good time to do it, and I think you're going to do it. So I think you know, you're playing your cards close to your chest. Mr. Stato over there. So like,
I'm glad you mentioned that, Hots, because usually I'm the one that gets labelled the kind of, you know, wants to lie or X, Y, and Z. So I'm glad that you've you know.
I'm not lying by saying that I don't know what I'm going to do. You actually lie. But I mean, going through things, looking at the teams, Thiago, like I said, he upset me in game week 12. Like, that missed penalty, it cost me a lot. That said, he's playing Burnley. Like, we know over the last 5 game weeks, he's had over 5 goal involvements. He's doing well. His underlying numbers are what they need to be. He's underperforming, even though he's now returning like a 1 XG on a 90 minute basis. I think as well, Burnley as an opponent, they're not exactly great in the air, and they lose a lot of duels, and they're not good second ball defending either. And we know that that's what Brentford are about. They press. So stylistically, it could end up being something good for him. I do think you'd be brave captaining him, because Haaland is what Haaland is. Rodgers is the outlier, and the thing with Rodgers is he's actually outperforming his XG over the past couple of weeks as well. So he's overperforming. So the only caution that I would have with him is that, well, can overperforming be sustained? I know that Emery has been talking well about him, saying that, oh, you know, he's been playing good all season. It's just now that he's getting his reward or whatever not. And he's very heavily involved in what they do in both boxes. But yeah, I guess those are the things. It's fortune favours the brave, as they say. And for me, if I was being brave, it would be Thiago. But in reality, I'm going to captain Haaland. Okay, so we're at that time of the show where we look at the mini league and see what damage game week 12 did to it. What we're looking at. So, Peaky Blinders is still at the top. Gonna Win is finally stayed second. You've got the top 5 there. Obviously, you can see what has happened with us as the triple captains. I think I'm still not on the first page. Terrible times. But yes, there weren't any chips used for the top 3. However, we can see that the manager of the week was Go Power Rangers. with 78 points. And interestingly, with those 78 points, he stormed up the league by 19 positions, and he still had 20 points on the bench. So whoever you are, well done. It's a good team name as well. But obviously, where there are rises, there are falls. And we know that our dear old friend Glim is back in the doldrums. 16 terrible,
points.
terrible week.
Wow.
Terrible week.
Wow. 16, you know.
Yes, dead by game week 7. Like, managed to make some inroads. And Nottingham Forest down there, they're still down there. Looking like they're never going to be able to recover.
Yeah, man, I got to fix up, man. 59th place is dead. That is truly dead. I can smell that bottom league just chasing me. I'm like, no, it can't happen. I got to turn it around.
Yes, that's why you're going to triple captain, right?
Yeah.
And that will sort it out.
Get some momentum.
To be
going.
fair, a lot of people in the league that are in lofty positions, they are in lofty positions because they use a lot of chips to begin with. For instance, we know if we look into Gonna Win, for instance, like I think 3 or 4 chips were used by the time we got around to game week 10, game week 11. But yeah, it's all good. It is all good. So, we have come to the end of the show. Any other business, my friends?
I need to be in the middle of this show. This is getting silly now. Like, the FPL gods, if you can hear me, whatever I've done in my former life to make you do this to me, like, I apologise. Do you know what I mean?
It was crimes against Hots, isn't it? You took umbrage with.
Let's clean the slate. The Rastaman dread's gone. Like let's just like
Rastaman
go back to basics. You know, like the Rastaman when they destined a family, the dreads go. That's why the hair's gone, bruv. It's just a rebirth. So yeah, let's
fair enough.
Let's get going.
So when did you get the haircut? Was it after the game week or before?
Before the game week. So
right, so that's okay then. Fair enough.
So maybe that was the approach for this game week. Let me cut my hair, and the game week will change, and it just didn't work out.
You know what it is? If there is a God, do you know what I mean? He was saying to me, well, I gave you the blessing. Your team done well, but you changed it. So, like, you know, that's the facts, really. Like, I had the team to really make some inroads this week, and I turned my back on it and got punished. But anyway, it is what it is.
Okay.
Well, my aim for this week will just be to get back into the middle of the screen and host again. But obviously, if you man are both playing your triple captains,
your aim should be to get some sleep.
It is. As soon as this is done, I'm going to bed, man. It's going to be the earliest I've slept in a long time, apart from when I've fallen asleep without my consent. But
there is so much to undress there with that.
Well, I when I say that, I can quickly elaborate. I mean, without dozing off, just in any position, standing up on the train, dozing off. Do you get me? But anyway.
But I was worried for you there.
No, I've quickly cleaned that
out
up.
your consent.
Yeah. I've quickly.
Listen.
What? Are you saying
Steve Wonder. Get some sleep in it. You know what I mean?
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. As usual, follow the journey. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell that you see below, so you can continue getting updates and notifications for things that we are doing and that we're putting out there. You can follow any of us. All of our social handles are the same. It's FPL Hots, FPL Guffs, FPL. And what's that? You become Eze, have you? or you think one of us is Dracula? Which one is it? All right, fair play.
Truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds,